I keep rolling up like a bad penny, right? I'm Ramesh Prabhu, and you're watching Comets TV. Siddharth, wrong script, yaar. This is a television news semester at Comets, and you know how it happens when you immerse yourself in a project. So, I'm Ramesh Prabhu. I teach journalism at Comets, and I'm here to speak very briefly, I assure you, about journalism and about our historic tie-up with Network 18. I began my career with Midday in Bombay in 1984. For more than 20 years, I worked as a journalist in Bombay, in Dubai, and in Bangalore. And during my time as a journalist, I've helped to launch a new newspaper. I've launched special sections. I've even launched a magazine in India. And at the age of 40, I also became a television news anchor and chat show host. So, I've had a wonderful life. And I continue to have a wonderful life teaching some darn good students at Comets. I believe there is no job like journalism. I learned one thing when I was on television. Television, especially television news, is a young person's game. Young persons and young people like our students whom you see on TV every day. And you see them on TV every day because we've always had a close relationship with the industry. For example, CNN-IBN. For many years now, our students have gone as interns to CNN-IBN. They have learned the trade. They have gone prepared from Comets. They have learned the trade on the job. And those who have done well during the internship, those who had fire in their belly, they were recruited right after college. If I try to recall some names, I think we have Deep Pal from the class of 2003, 12 years ago, who was with CNBC Awaz. He is now a political analyst in Washington, D.C. We have Priyali Soor from the class of 2005, who was with CNN-IBN. She is now in the US on a Fulbright scholarship. We have Koyal Mitra with History TV 18, all part of the Network 18 group. And right now in Bangalore, we have Shailaja Verma, who is doing such a wonderful job as a correspondent of CNN-IBN in Bangalore. And before coming to Comets, her undergraduate college was Mount Carmel. Any Mount students here? Let's hear it for Shailaja. Woohoo! I make life difficult at Comets for our students so that life will be easier in the industry. I drill them. I grill them so the industry won't kill them. To give you an example of what our students are capable of doing, I mentioned Shailaja Verma. I would like to play a news bulletin story that she worked on when she was in college. The judges who came to evaluate the bulletins at that time were completely floored. They could not believe that a student producing a television news bulletin for the very first time in her life, could do such a professional job. Not only that, you know what sound bites are? Sound bites are like quotes in a newspaper. For a student to get sound bites from important personalities is not at all easy. She was working on a story that involved the state's first agricultural budget presented by the then Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa. And would you believe it? She was able to get sound bites from Yediyurappa. She was able to get a sound bite from H.D. Kumaraswamy, the former Chief Minister. And she also got a sound bite from Siddaramaiah, then the leader of the opposition, and now the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Shailaja is not here right now. I would have asked her to stand up and take a bow. I think she and Deepa Balakrishnan of Senior IBN are on their way with Professor Rao. But I want to give you an inkling of what Comet students are capable of. So Rusha, Imtiaz, Viswajit, can we please have Shailaja Verma's news bulletin story?
Before the Karnataka Chief Minister presents the state budget tomorrow, he will pay special attention to the agriculture sector since Karnataka is facing a severe farm crisis.
Some new type of agricultural budget is required. Well, when I started as a deputy CM, the budget was less than 40,000 crore. Now it has reached more than 80,000 crore. That is a jump. And without extra burden to the people, any taxation. So just we are collecting money, stopping all irregularities. In that way we are improving our budget.
But the farmers insist this is nothing but an eyewash. They say the government is trying to woo farmers to vote for them again in the next election.
Yediyurappa hasn't done anything for farmers. During the elections, he wore a green shawl. But then he didn't do anything for the farmers. Now because his seat is in danger, he's presenting this budget.
The opposition is also critical of Yediyurappa's plan. They say Yediyurappa is presenting this budget only to regain his popularity with the farmers.
I don't expect much from Mr. Yediyurappa in this budget also. It's because I've seen Yediyurappa in all the previous budgets. It's only a election gimmick that he is telling that he is going to make a separate budget for the agriculture.
The way in which previously he implemented his budgetary program, he will not going to implement even 50%.
When Yediyurappa was sworn in as Chief Minister 3 years ago, he took the oath in the name of farmers. But farmers have not really benefited from the policies of this government. So this year, especially when there is so much political instability, B.S. Yediyurappa is sure to make amends and please the farmers with a separate budget for agriculture, which he will present tomorrow. With camera person Filza Arshad, this is Shailaja Verma reporting for Bangalore Now.
The traffic, and there she is, Shailaja Verma, ladies and gentlemen. We are so proud of her. Now, all right. As you can imagine, the judges were floored. Now, however good a media college may be, we can never replicate the news environment that exists in newspapers and at television news channels. That is why I am very glad that we now have this historic tie-up, thanks to the initiative of Mr. Umesh Upadhyay and his team with Network 18. We will now be able to tap into the collective knowledge base of the country's finest journalists. Sure, we have sent our students to CNN IBN, they have hired students, But now, we will have the best journalists from CNN, IBN and their allied news channels coming to Comets to train and prepare our students for what is a super competitive industry. And speaking of super competitive, I'm reminded of that super competitive and one of the West's greatest military leaders, Emperor Napoleon, who had so much respect for the press that he said 4 hostile newspapers are to be more feared than 1,000 bayonets. What's a bayonet? A bayonet is a knife-like or sword-like weapon attached to the muzzle of the old-time rifles and muskets. What would the 21st century version of that statement be? What would a modern emperor say today? What would Narendra Modi say today? He might say, one hostile television news channel is to be more feared than 1,000 Arvind Kejriwals. We are so glad at Comets that Network 18 and CNN IBN are on our side. On that happy note, it gives me great pleasure to invite our Dean Ronita Hirji and the President News of Network 18, Mr. Umesh Upadhyay, and the Managing Editor of CNN IBN, Radhakrishnan Nair, to please join me on stage and proceed with the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. A big round of applause for the historic tie-up. Photographers, your photo op begins now.